So, dear students, today we wish to discuss about the operations Australia and South Africa. Ministry of Tourism, Government of India has taken certain initiatives for Australia as a tourist destination for incoming and outgoing, means the inbound and outbound tourism to Australia and the South Africa. The structure for today's discussion will be initially the objective will be discussed, then introduction, background, as well as we will also discuss about the role of Ministry of Tourism, and there are certain studies were conducted by Ministry of Tourism, and then we will also discuss about the Operation Australia and Operation South Africa, which will be followed by sum up. So far as objective are concerned, the very first thing which you may get an idea about the Australia, you will understand the Australian market, and by discussion of this today's matter, you may be able to know about the South Africa as a tourist destination for India, as well as we will also discuss the specific study to conduct which was conducted by Ministry of Tourism. So when we talk about the introduction part, Australia officially known as the Commonwealth of Australia, and it is highly developed country with the world's 13th largest economy, the world's smallest continent, and 6th largest country by total area. Australia, owing to its size and isolation, is often dubbed the island continent and is sometimes considered the world's largest island. Australia has 6 states: New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, and Western Australia. So far as Australia is concerned, there are 2 major mainland territories, the Northern Territory and Australian Capital Territory. So far as South Africa is concerned, South Africa is the southernmost sovereign state of Africa, the beauty and diversity of which is overwhelming, covering an area of almost 471,443 square kilometer. It is the 25th largest country in the world by land area. It is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean on the west and by the Indian Ocean on the south and east. Of course, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and the Kingdom of Lesotho are its neighbors. Dear students, when we talk about the background, Australia has a major market economy with high GDP per capita and low rate of poverty. The Australian dollar is the currency of the nation. Australia was founded with the influx of European settlers just over 200 years ago. So it's not a very old country when we talk about the settlement, European settlement as concerned is in Australia. Although the original inhabitants, the Aborigine, has inhabited the continent for tens of thousands of years before that. A predominantly urban nation where almost 89% of the total Australian population lived in towns and cities. This was conducted in 2010. The major cities of Australia are Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, Perth, Gold Coast, and the capital of Australia is Canberra. So far as South Africa is concerned, there the Cape Town, Pretoria there are 3 important capitals of South Africa. Bloemfontein is also one of them. In Cape Town, the Table Mountain, Robben Island, Signal Hill, and Cape Peninsula are the major attractions for tourists. The sight of hippos in the Limpopo River and the penguins wading on the Cape attract visitors to the country. From the other highlights of South Africa include the deers of Kalahari, wildflowers of Namakawa, and the lion, buffalo, crocodile battle at the Kruger National Park. Not to miss Simangalozo Wetland Park, that is the only habitat with 5 distinct ecosystems. It invites both dolphins and zebras. So far as role of Ministry of Tourism is concerned, Ministry of Tourism has been taking concern and continuous efforts toward the holistic tourism development including tourist infrastructure development, domestic and overseas promotion, publicity, as well as the added research and capacity development of stakeholders within the country, keeping in mind to catch hold even the overseas market. The Incredible India campaign have generated positive interest with the desire to visit and experience the culture of India. Surging on the higher side, the campaign have been launched in 3 different formats of television, print and online media with a series of commercials and advertisement. The advertisements have brought attention to the different facets and hidden treasure of Indian geographical and socio-cultural diversity, believing myths prevalent in the popular people's mind in many parts of the world. The Incredible India campaign has been awarded for its ingenuity and ranked the highest recall advertisement worldwide by Travel and Leisure. The first meeting of the joint working group between India and South Africa was held in New Delhi on 28 April 2018. The Indian delegation was led by Joint Secretary Tourism and comprised officials from the Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of External Affairs, representatives from private sector. Ministry of Tourism has endeavored to promote sites and destinations in the Australian market through advertising campaigns in the print and online media and TV. A study was awarded to AC Nelson ORG Marg as a part of 2-phase assignment to carry out an assessment international media campaign. This was for the US, France and Australia, but Australia is very important for us because the discussion is on Australia. The hospitality scheme of Ministry of Tourism, Government of India showcased India's tourist destination to travel industry related professionals of target countries with the expectation that they will publicize India in their country, which will connect the prospective tourists to those countries to visit India. It was also expected that the travel and tour operator delegates would add more destinations of India in their itinerary, as they would have been impressed by India's unexplored tourism potential. So India Tourism recently conducted road shows in Mauritius and South Africa. In fact, these countries emerged as the major tourism generating market for India. It is also growing at a consistent pace. The tourism road shows were successfully held even in 2014 at Port Louis, Mauritius, followed by again in Cape Town, in Durban in South Africa. Even in Johannesburg also this roadshow was conducted to attract the African tourists, South African tourists to India. While it was emphasized that India today has established itself as a round-the-year destination, the country offers something for every traveler. The thrust during the roadshow was also given to the showcase India as a destination for luxury and medical tourism. So far as a study conducted by Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, there has been a continuous growth in outbound travel from Australia in the past decade. As a positive impact, the Incredible India campaign have registered its respondent mind, and as some respondents said, it has made them plan to visit India in the near future or in the coming years. Some of the important features of the survey which was carried out in Australia, specifically for the Australian tourist, there was Sydney, Melbourne, where 49 and 50% are the main cities of the residents, and departure for respondent travelers in Australia, about 31% of respondents covered belong to the age group of 61 years, which indicates an variance in the travel and consumption pattern in comparison to France and US. In Australia, the most viewed advertisement were the Mysore Palace advertisement. Almost 22% people have followed, and then the desert also. So online and televisions were the two important medium of viewership, as reported by the respondent. while 43% of respondents said television is the most effective medium of communication and advertisement. Electronic media, especially the online media, has been highly recommended as a medium. The people are convenient with due to their hectic lifestyle. During personal interviews, this was revealed. So far as the Incredible India impact is concerned, on respondent in Australia, of all the viewership in the different medium, 10%, 15% and 8% of the respondents said the ads were made them visit India in the online 784, television 434 and print 708 media respectively. Further, the study reveals that for the same sample, the positive impact of the advertisement can be gauged where 4%, 9%, 3% of respondents have said that they changed their international travel booking after viewing the advertisement. It's very important. On the way, 7% of the respondents have said the ads made them change their travel booking, while 9% of the respondents are traveling to India after watching this advertisement out of the total sample of 952 respondents. This is a wonderful study which brought all the new emerging trends for Indian Ministry of Tourism. Respondent 30%, 33% and 29% for online, television and print have said that they will consider India as a future travel destination after watching the ads. On the whole, 80% of respondents have said they will consider India as future travel destination. According to the respondents, India as a travel destination is very much there in the list, but they travel to other countries and destinations as almost 21% of the people cited that they have friends and relatives in those countries. Secondly, the advertisement were made appearing the respondent in the face-to-face interview. The common concern cited were the similarities in culture with New Zealand, America, etc. While countries Indonesia, Fiji were closer in geography and have been suggested by friends and relatives for travel to those countries. Important concern expressed by the respondents during interview were the health and hygiene condition and climate in India. That's very important. Most of the respondents were unaware about the varied geography and natural resources, wealth of India. Some respondents even went on to say that they kind of understand Indian culture since it has been diversified by the presence of the Indian diaspora in Australia. India, on the other hand, is considered as a difficult destination due to lack of information on form of travel, accommodation, etc. Most of the respondents interviewed personally said that they would like to visit India, but in the coming years, citing various reasons such as expenses in travel, health issues, family, etc. According to the respondents, there is a very little information on India, the media which has a neutral position on the same. There is no information other than the campaign and activities undertaken by India tourism offices. On the other hand, destinations like Fiji, Africa run advertisements on the regular basis. So dear friends, the recommendation of that study which was on Australia was that the Incredible India campaign has generated a positive image of India as a must-see and interesting destination. The myths with respect to India in some cases have not been addressed, although the ads make an appealing, persuasive impact to visit India, as reported by the respondent in the primary survey. So under the study, Australia has emerged as a booming outbound market which sustained a growth of almost 10%. It was during even the recession, it was 8.2% when we talk about the 2008 and 9. And when we further slowly observe, then we realize that this growth has gone further ahead in 2010. That was 13.2%. And even now, also numbers are increasing year by year. The survey endorses online media through social networking sites and independent web pages as a powerful and effective tool to reach out to prospective audiences in future in Australia. The advertisement should be shoot and prepared based on the country in which it is to be aired, because this is very important for the Australian market. Australians prefer traveling during August to December, so the ad does have to be aired aggressively from March to June to influence travelers' decisions. The age group of travelers varies from 18 years and beyond. There is a sizable population of above 61 years, means the aged people traveling to India from Australia. That's very important. The food and cultural heritage of different parts of India should be promoted to give information on the diversity and richness of Indian culture and heritage. People in Australia are geographically and culturally separated, distinct and diverse communities in comparison to India. India's image is thus differently placed in the psyche of the people. The most common perception aired by interviews are India's poverty and concern for health and hygiene condition in the country. India is most considered as a hassle-free destination, as respondents cited less information on modes of travel and accommodation available or conveyed through these ads. There is a need to have the bridge between to bridge the gap between the specific adequate information on ease to access transportation, grades of affordable accommodation suitable to different budget at various sites being promoted, and special feature with respect to each of these sites and destination. On the other hand, India is considered as an extensive leisure destination where respondents wanted to spend longer periods visiting different regions at a stretch at leisure. The notion of leisure travel that is being promoted should be thus strengthened to give a positive impression of the various leisure activities available. The most common perception myths aired by interviews are India's poverty and concern for health and hygiene condition in the country. That's very important, and very seriously we have to rethink about the development of the image and the perception of India. An important source of information which influences travelers' decision to travel abroad is the word of mouth. Assurance, appreciation and experience shared by friends and relatives traveling to that particular destination. Respondents from Australia shared their views of different countries like Vietnam, Bali, Cambodia, which had been conveyed by their friends and relatives who had previously visited these destinations. The India Tourism Offices and the Ministry of Tourism should give higher emphasis to improve the tourist experience and nature of propaganda generated from the visits. That's very important. Even they should keep in mind the VFR category also, visiting friend and relative, because they can also pass the positive information to the prospective tourist. The primary survey and in-depth interview in all three countries, when we talk about America and other places, they do, especially the Australia also, they have pointed to information gap about India, and other than the campaign and related activities being carried out by India tourism offices, the neutrality of the local media and state information boards does not position India as a prime or must-see destination. In order to generate greater interest and positive visits to the country, the Ministry of Tourism, through its various tourism offices, should liaise and lobby with the local media. That's very important, as well as to host nation tourism department to promote India as a must-see destination. The Ministry of Tourism should also promote and liaise with the international tourism bodies such as UNWTO, World Tourism and Travel Council, WTTC, ITB, International Tourism Board, and to strengthen India's standing and ranking in the international market. When we refer the UNWTO data and other things, they have highlighted the points to localized, regional, and intercontinental travel in the rise in the world due to recession and changes in the geopolitical situation in past half decade. The campaigns thus should also be targeted to India's neighbors, China and Southeast Asia. China has shown incredible growth in inbound as well as outbound tourist travel. The campaign thus should also target prospective growth market in addition to the traditional sources market of Europe and America. So far as Ministry of Tourism is concerned, India is considered as a long period leisure holiday vacation destination by most Australian respondents interviewed. According to respondents, the constraints in traveling to India is the cost and time they would like to spend for such trips. So far as India traffic to Australia is concerned, this is also very important. In 2018, India was one of the Australia's fastest growing inbound market in terms of visitor arrival. It is growing at 18% per year. That's very important. And total trip expenditure is also gone up from 21% at 1.7 billion. High value travelers represent approximately 41% of India's out of region travel market. In 2018, India was Australia's 8th largest inbound market for visitor arrival, 13th largest market for total visitor spend, and third for the visitor nights. So when we just go through the data, we find that for Australia also, India is a major outbound destination. So as an Indian also, we have to keep this thing in mind. Dear friends, we wish to discuss about something about South Africa also. So far as tourist arrivals in India from South Africa is concerned, it has gone down. The number was 798,587, almost 7,98,587 in August. This was little bit decreased when we talk about the July data of 2019. Tourist arrival in India average 4,89,451 from 2000 till 2019. So almost 5 lakh tourists are visiting India, reaching an all-time high of 11,91,147 in December 2018. And of course in 2001 it was the lowest, almost 12 lakhs, 1,29,000 rather. Most Indian visiting South Africa are families, because multi-generation family is honeymooners, millennials, and participants in the MICE. The MICE sector is coming up, so this also include meeting, incentives, conventions and events. India is the 8th largest source market for foreign tourist arrival in the country, the top 5 being the US, UK, Germany, Netherlands and France. Most Indian travelers between January and September visited South Africa. For MICE, it was almost 32.8%, while 26.8% were there for the leisure holiday. There are around 16.4% business travelers, while VFR stands for visiting friends and relatives. This comprised 16% of the total visitor from India, according to the South African tourism. There was an increase of 30% in the number of millennial Indian traveling to South Africa during the first quarter, and it rose to 46% in the second quarter. For development and promotion of leisure and tourism, the Ministry of Tourism engages in various consultants and negotiation with the international organizations such as UNWTO, ESCAPE Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, that is called ASEAN, and South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So this is the SAARC. So as such, the government is concerned with all these international and bilateral understanding with the help of the international organizations. Consultations and negotiation with other countries are held for signing of agreement, memorandum of understanding for bilateral and multilateral cooperation in the field of tourism. At present, Ministry of MOUs are in place for countries, out of which 41 are valid and 28 have been expired till date. The Ministry of Tourism organized a meeting between Honorable Tourism Minister of Government of India and the ambassadors of different countries with the support of Ambassador Forum, and this was held in Hotel Ashok, New Delhi. It is also the South Africa's peak season coincide with the Diwali and New Year. The Indian travelers who tend to book much later and their American and European counterparts in comparison sometimes faces a lack of availability and seasonally high rates for hotel rooms in top tourist areas such as Cape Town. Therefore, driving awareness around our charming smaller towns that are relatively unexplored and continue to have accommodation as well as a wide range of interesting activities has helped address the availability issues. So sum up, when we talk about the summing up, we realize when we analyze the people, those are coming from Australia and South Africa, especially they just wishes to see the India's ancient history, which is thousands of years old. Similarly, the rich culture and heritage. When we talk about Indian culture, the northern India, the altogether different culture. When we talk about the south, the different heritage and culture is there. Similarly, the social system, the caste system, even the customs, those are there in the East society. Even in tribals, that's a different. When we visit Bengal, there are different customs. Similarly, fairs and festivals. India is very rich when we talk about the fair and festivals. Each region has different fairs and festivals, and people are very keen to visit India for the trade and business. So far as niche areas are concerned, like Australians, they are coming to India for the wedding tourism. South Africa, medical tourism has become very popular, and a few of them from Australia and Europe, they are more concerned with the adventure activities. Dear students, one thing which is very important, we have to be very careful while we are targeting the tourist, because Australian tourist behavior is altogether different when we talk about the tourists those are coming from South Africa. So that cross-cultural understanding is very important, and we, the people, those are from the tourism fraternity, we have to be very careful while we are targeting these tourists. Those are coming from different continents, Australia and the South Africa. Thank you very much.